sucker out.
Let the games begin.
Evolution.
I said let the games begin.
Evolution.
I said let the games begin. I said let the games begin.
I'm just gonna go editing like crazy. But I mean, we're products of the 70s, you know what I mean?
And I mean, we grew up with music. I mean, you know, soul was what we grew up around. You know what I mean? That's in us. It's a part of us. So, you know, you get through those 70s and you're loving that. And then the 80s are okay, but there's, you know, little electric, little different kind of music. But then the 90s hip hop, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, wow, man, I finally have someone that I'm talking to that understands and agrees with that, because
oh my God, that's all I say to Lois. Like, if we're not the same age, we got to be right there, because everything you drop, I love. I mean, love. Like, you can't hold still for a second. You're feeling it. It brings you right back to the, you know, high school days, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I the thing that Blake and I and even Miss Sadie, you know, we've created what we call the DubFunk Family.
Yeah.
I have another third project that I'm writing and producing now, which is called the Galactic Cannibals, with Trey Daniels of POD.
Fucking
Awesome.
love it, man. Helter Skelter, the fucking electric cannibals. Like,
Love it.
why? But I mean, you know, it's art is just the most amazing thing. Like, I don't care if you're playing with crayons or if you're beating on drums, like it's just the most amazing thing that not everybody has the ability to draft that, to create that, take concepts and make somebody be moved by something.
Feel. Like you're making people feel.
It's just
crazy.
crazy.
In a time like this, we're lucky if we can get anyone to know their name. Like, I mean, you're waking people up. I love it. Like, I absolutely love it.
Because it's all in the interpretation, you know, it's a beautiful thing.
You know, the what's the best way to put it? You know, for me, music is to reflect what is going on socially around you.
Sure.
And if you neglect that and don't embrace that, then you're living in a fantasy land for me. Now, that's my mindset, right? Because America is in a dark place. It doesn't mean that you have to beat people over the head with a baseball bat, like some people felt about groups like Rage Against the Machine. I loved Rage Against the Machine. A lot of people could not swallow a lot of that content because it was just too much for them.
Sure.
So everyone is different. You know, that's where you see the difference between Manic Sound Expulsion and KingZiLLA featuring Blake. We don't want to hit people over the head with the baseball bat, but we want them to know that what we are talking about is real. Right. So we don't want to feel too preachy, but Manic Sound Expulsion is a different vibe, but it's still part of the DubFunk family that is more on a lighter way of putting things.
Right. This is our takeaway is always just, you know, one, because we know Sadie and her personality. So you can see, if you know somebody personally, you see their art and how it presents, and it's very different feeling. So knowing her optimism, her positive vibe, always looking at something, trying to find like a positive spin on it. You know, that's her vibe. But then again, like you know, and you pointed out for your own art. I mean, you look at what you're doing with Blake as a solo artist too, your lyrics are telling their storyline, you know what I mean? And they're like paired with an influence, like we're talking about, you know, it's like, what is DubFunk? You know, it's like Outkast meets the Parliament meets, you know, Child Gambino, like
there's a lot. No, there's a lot to it,
Like what is, first of all, just so DubFunk, like what is DubFunk?
Right, okay. I'm glad you asked that. I don't think people, you know, fully know what.
No, they don't.
Why I came up with that. Okay, so funk. Funk is, man, I grew up on it through the late 70s into the 80s, and it was such a blueprint of infection inside of me, you know, from Ohio Players, Cameo, Parliament Funkadelic, Print. You know, I was listening to these guys, in my opinion, during their heyday of the funk era, right? So in DubFunk music, I have taken that as, that's my DNA. That's the funk, the groove. There's a certain groove that is there that I put in, which is retro, but I use modern electronic sounds.
Yes.
This kit that you see back here, this is what you hear on all of those records, even though I have a massive acoustic drum set in the other room, which I'll show you in a minute.
I'd love to see it for sure. Gina loves the drums, by the way.
Oh, I live.
Yeah,
I have no idea how to play, but in my mind, I'm amazing. Sounds incredible.
All right. Well, hey, don't laugh at that, because pretty soon in the future, you'll put on a headset and it'll connect to nerves and stuff in your mind, and it will literally present you as the baddest drummer on earth. So
all she needs is a pair of drums in her hand. No doubt. It's all there. Pieces are all there for sure.
I may not live to actually see that, but hey, in another 50, 100 years, that may be the reality of how music is made. A person puts a headset on and their brain does all this. Because if you had told me, right, in 78 or 1980 or 84, that I would be in my studio, I would have a computer replacing an actual audio board, replacing effect modules. Now, I do have, you know, retro compressors and stuff like that. I just purchased a SSL6 mixer off an analog summoning, because I just wanted my tracks now to go through some type of analog circuitry. There's something special, in my opinion, still that happens when you hit analog and then come back into the digital. But the main thing is that you wouldn't have gotten me to believe that this would be me doing what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be sitting in a major facility, but turning a room in my house into what you're seeing now. I mean, I wouldn't have believed that.
Well, I'll tell you what, that is a gift that only certain generations can even imagine to be a possibility. You got one foot in analog, you got the other foot in digital. There's this creativity in between that allows you to tap into both universes, and like it's such a different perspective, you know what I'm saying? And true connoisseurs of music, like they're going to hear that, they're going to know that, you're like showing them an evolution, you know, but really rooted in something, you know. Again, art is art, and it's based on those types of perspectives, experiences. And you know, some people look at a painting and be like, I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. And other people will turn it into a completely different universe. And that's the artist's job, is just to be. And the other part is for people to interpret that, you know. You know, so that's really cool. I'm digging that, the duality there for sure.
It's a beautiful thing, you know. It's you know, when the pandemic happened, lady, you know, up until that, I was like, man, how am I going to get these songs done faster? How am I going to do this? And look, it's a hard thing to get people to even give you 3 minutes and 50 seconds of their life to listen to what you have created. That's a very difficult thing. So when 2020 happened and, you know, everything got shut down, like in March, like the second week in March, I told myself, because, you know, my job was like, hey, yo, man, you can't come to work. So I was like, okay, cool. I got unemployment. And instead of going into a deep depression, I went into the mindset of, this studio is now my job.
Yes.
When I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna get up at the same time that I would go to work. And I came in here and I put 8 to 10 hours a day, every day. I didn't take a day off. And I wrote, and I put out within a year and a half from that time, 4 albums.
Wow.
Expulsion and 3 KingZiLLA records. I was
gonna say, looking at your discography, like you've got 2020, and most people will reflect it being the most productive year of their life, and you literally nailed out 3 albums in 2020. So like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, and you nailed it, Kevin. Either you curl up in a ball and feel sorry for yourself and poor me and what am I going to do? What am I going to do?
Right.
Or you use that to your advantage and you start hitting your goals head on.
Yeah.
And I mean,
And
talk
I
about
had to,
using
you know
that.
what? I agree with you. Let me tell you why what you just said is really important. I literally found out that I had to be careful who I said this to regarding 2020. 2020 was one of the best years of my life I had in the last 3-4 years of my life, because I chose not to go into this dark place. And I used it and I became a happy person in 2020.
You said you chose it. You decided that. You made it happen. That's my God. I want to take that clip out and put it all over the world. Like nobody realizes it's up to us. Like it's all up to us, and it doesn't mean it's going to be easy or handed to you or whatnot.
Right.
But you get it in your mind and you make it fucking happen. Oh, yeah. I love that.
It's so interesting.
And that's what 2020 was for me. I you know, and actually, I was sad when I got called back to work because that meant my production was going to slow down.
Bullshit. I'm already working.
I was so mad when I got that phone call. And it actually wasn't a phone call, it was a text saying, I need you to show up to work like tomorrow. And I was like, this sucks, man.
I have an album coming out.
That wasn't cool, man. But you know, I have to be grateful. I'm grateful. Because for me, spiritually, I give all credibility to God for the blessings that I have had in my life, the people who are now in my life, because, you know, you have to get to a point where bad energy can no longer exist in your space.
Yes.
2020 was a great year for me to get bad energy out, and it left room, a lot of room for what was right to come into my life. And that's what happened.
Beautifully said.
You know, it's in the most darkest way. It's like as adults, we've kind of gotten ourselves in a situation where we're just praying for a solution. We're not happy with our lives. And a lot of us found in this past year, like what that answer actually looked like, what that sacrifice is, and what that actually looks like.
And what we need to do to make it happen.
What we need, like we're just stuck in the hamster wheel. I mean, literally stuck in a hamster wheel. Yes. We're indoctrinated as children to be in the hamster wheel. We then further in our life, and then at some point, some of us just have this disconnect.
Yeah, like hold up.
And we spend the rest of our life getting out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Uneducating ourselves out of it, because at some point, the relationships you make, the connections, your view of the world, you start to realize, like, oh wait, what's important to me is in my home,
right?
And my path is there. What's important to me is harboring the relationships that make the world around me a better place, and that's where my thing has to go. And then society is constantly pecking at you, like, no, it's a monetary thing, it's a capitalist thing. It's all part of it. It's not everything,
right?
You know what I mean? And I think we had our own unique situation, you know, because it's like, you know, kids are out of school. We have young kids, like 8 years old, you know. Our entire lives changed like in a blink of an eye, and together, really just making the most of that. It's literally changed the course of our life forever.
100%.
This pebble will forever change what we do in the future, because we've had a taste as adults of what we had when we were kids, and we're gonna keep holding on to it.
Yeah, and Lo and I, very similar to you, Kevin. It's like, you know, we had to take a minute and just be like, all right, what are we doing? What are we doing? What do we want? Important? And what do we need to do mentally, physically, emotionally to make that happen? And it's work. It's daily work, but you bet your ass it's worth it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that, first of all, that you two had each other and family support.
Oh my God.
Very important. That's how I look at what I'm now calling my DubFunk family, between Blake, Miss Sadie, Trey Daniels, B-Boy Wicked, and my man Ronnie Payne, Rod Maurice. That's the people that during this, they were like, yeah, Kevin, man, I got you, man. I'll play on the track. Hey, man, I'll help you with this and this and that. Because when you're making a song, I don't have all of the answers for the song.
Right.
And Trey Daniels is such a beast. A lot of people, they don't understand how bad that guy. No, seriously, he's the bass player in POD, but people don't understand. He's an incredible arranger. He plays keys, guitar, bass. He's the guy is just cool. And I've known him for over 30 years. We used to play in a band together before he got into POD. And the same thing with like Rod Maurice. A lot of people don't know that guy, but man, his history, you know, he was a background singer for Gloria Estefan. Wow. He's done amazing things, and now he does orchestral arrangements for movies and stuff. Wow. So, and he does vocal tuning, all the vocals and stuff that we do in our production, certain things with even the instrumentation. He looks over all of that and he goes, okay, Kevin, I think you may want to change this here in your song, or I need you guys to re-sing this part because there's something not right. So man, I have these beautiful people that are part of my team, and that's so important. Like, you know, what you two have together, I have with these people. Beautiful. You know, Miss Sadie has been very, very supportive. Yeah. And interesting note on how I met her.
Oh, that's one of my questions. Yes, definitely. That's awesome.
She's like, is it from like him being from New York, or like where did it all happen?
Right. Okay. So this was like 1,000,000 to 1 chance that this really would have happened like this, right? I was working on a project, or, you know, for someone, and I'm doing stuff in the studio. I'm tuning this stuff up, and this person had Miss Sadie and some other people involved with what he was creating or doing. Mm-hmm. And so she actually came over. He said, hey man, you know, can some of my investor people or people I'm working with, can they come by? And, you know, normally I'm like, hey man, I don't know these people. I don't want strangers in my life.
No, and you're right to feel that way out the gate.
We got to meet them at Starbucks, bro. You know,
during the day, high noon.
So anyway, I opened up to it, and she came over, and she was the first person to show up. Everybody else was actually late. She was doing time. So you know, I'm just sitting there talking to her, waiting for everyone else to come in, and instantly, what I felt about her was a beautiful spirit.
Yes.
Spirit person.
Yes.
Man.
That was the first thing that struck me about her. Right. So anyway, the guy comes over, and my studio room is not that big. So imagine, you know, like, you know, 8 to 9 people trying to all fit in here. You know,
intimate house party.
Man, yeah. You know, they're all watching what I'm doing. And so anyway, after that, I kind of had broke away from it, because I'm always like this. If something at this point in my life is taking me away from what I feel I should be doing, I got to walk away from it. I have to stay on the path. And I want to get into that in a minute with you guys too, about how important it is to stay focused, no matter whether people appreciate or like what you're doing. Keep doing it. Right.
It's like a cousin to integrity, right?
Yeah, but you may fall, but learn from the fall, pick yourself back up, and learn then how to take what is your brand in the direction that will go boom. For how, you know, whatever you see as being success for you. Right. So anyway, I had broke away from that, but Sadie, we traded Instagram pages and phone numbers. And I remember she said to me, I said, yeah, I said, Sadie, I'll follow you. And she goes, hey, now you make sure, she did this to me. She said, hey, you make sure you follow and don't, you know, disfollow me later, okay? And I said, no, I won't do that. Because, you know, a lot of people do that. They'll hit that follow button just to get that follow. And then, you know, they do that dumb shit, man, and hit unfollow, you know, to make it look like they just got another 10 numbers.
Yeah, they've got 3 million followers and they follow 3 people, their mom, their dad, and their cousin, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's, look, one of the craziest things is, what is it going to cost you to just hit the love button?
Decency.
It doesn't cost
Yes.
you a penny.
Right.
But and that's another conversation about the mindset.
Yes.
And that they just can't free themselves to just hit the love button.
Right.
So anyway, I said, no, Sadie, I won't do that to you. So time went by, actually like a couple of months, and I'm sitting here in the studio, I'm creating these songs, and I'm like, this is not going to work for KingZiLLA featuring Blake. And it's not going to work for what I knew down the line would be Galactic Cannibals. Okay. I was like, man, I don't want to just sit on these songs. Who can I partner up with, to make this project?
Right.
And bam, she came up. Now, understand that, I don't care about whether you're the greatest singer on earth.
Right.
What I care about is do you have the attitude to win?
Yes.
You've got the attitude.
Oh, I mean, there's no other lane for her.
I could work with that all day long,
Yeah.
right? Because the most talented people come at you thinking that the world is supposed to be delivered to them on a platter sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've had rappers in this studio that came across, like, hey, Kevyn, man, you know what makes this song hot? And I would go, what? And then they go, me. And meant it. I mean, the ego was as big as the whole Henderson, Las Vegas Valley.
Eyes on me. All eyes on me. All eyes on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
telling you what I'm eating today.
Right. And so I just, those type of people, guess what? I don't work with them anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have time for it. So anyway, I called her and I said, Sadie, could you do me a favor? And at this point, it wasn't even asking her to just be in this group with me. It was just, can you do me a favor? And she said, yeah. And she showed up. And I said, now this is what I need you to do. I'm playing the song. And I said, I just need you to say these words, right? So she said the words and blah, 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 blah. And she was like, hey, that was fun. I was like, okay, I'll let you hear it when I'm done. So and that song was Push Up.
Oh, stop it. We wondered that. Like, what was the first song? Like, where does push up?
I mean, it's literally when we started our show, it was our theme song.
It was our intro.
We give you guys credit. Don't get me wrong. It's everywhere. Like, it was our theme song.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, seriously. That was the first song we recorded. That's what she came in the studio to do. Because I had put my voice through these effects, but I was like, no, I gotta have a female. I have to have a female.
No, the push up is very feminine.
I feel that a beautiful face.
I was gonna say her being gorgeous does not hurt, right?
Yeah, it helps sell products. Man. And I told her later when we became a group, I said, look, Sadie, I'm the KingZiLLA. I'm unpredictable. I'm the wild card in the group. I'm not this thing that people look at and go, oh my God, look at that sexy piece of chocolate. I'm not that guy. So
you never know. It's all about.
I'm not that guy. So for me, I'm the dude that it's like, you don't know what I'm gonna say, depending on the situation, and you don't know what I'm gonna throw at you for your ear hole.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm an artist.
You got a little Barry White mixed with Kanye West.
Well, I hope I never get that bad.
Medicatable?
Hey, he's a very creative person. No, he's a very creative person.
Yeah.
There's just some stuff going on there, and
I think it's for sure. I really think it speaks to what happens. I mean, we're from Chicago. He's from Chicago, right? To the west side of Chicago. I think it speaks to what happens when you have a goal of fame, and you get there, and nothing in your life has given you the tools to support it. I think what happens in the mind, the overwhelming, the circuitry malfunctioning, like what ends up happening when you've earned something and you're handed the keys of the kingdom, I don't know, if you're not centered, a lot of things are going to go wrong for you, in a human way. So it's hard. I mean, it's, it's like why you want to pick fun at the crazy, like you can really understand where the crazy comes from. And that's when you really have to like knock that out. Like, no, if you follow any artist that reaches that kind of level of fame, if you follow their story and you listen to their story, you see every single turn where all a human had to do was be a human and their life would be different.
Right.
And it's consistent across the board for anybody in super.
Oh, it's all the greats. Michael Jackson, Prince, everyone you mentioned, it's all the greats.
And it's a very similar story, just different players. And it's, and actually you share a lot of stuff with me, via Instagram and stuff. It seems to be some of the things you share more of a passion, like artist, the advantageous management of this space, and where it seems to me that you're always conscious of how when people enter a certain level of music and stardom, where they don't really become the artist anymore. Their brand, they've lost themselves. What do you do to, as an independent artist, what do you do to keep that fresh in mind, front and center, and keep your path aligned with where you want it to go without that influence?
Well, the answer to that for me would be family. I have 3 grown kids. I've now have a new grandbaby, first female in the Kelley. She's a beautiful little girl. I think she's like 2 or 3 weeks old now.
Oh my God.
But the family thing, I'll share something really personal with you, right?
Yeah.
And it changed my position on a lot of things. And it humbles you to understand that no matter who you become or how successful you are, the reality of certain things is real. So my first grandchild, his name was Sean Green Bay Jr. My first grandson, my daughter had got an infection, and the baby, it was causing her to give birth, and he was only like 23, 24 weeks.
Oh my God.
So the baby, they didn't want to move her from this one hospital where they could have saved the child and her, because the risk was there that I was going to lose my daughter.
Oh my God.
We knew that we were going to lose the baby. But when the baby came out, I watched that child fight for his life for 55 minutes before he died.
Oh God, Kevin.
And that was real. It changed a lot of things in me. And it made me go, well, that baby fought for his life for 55 minutes.
Yeah.
Kevin, what are you doing when you have had these years to live? What have you really done? My grandson didn't get the chance to do any of the things that I've done, but I know he felt the love in the room of his family that was there. I really do feel that, but we have to dig deep, and we have to know, man, don't waste any moments of your life. Be humble, stay humble. These things are important. So that grounds me as an artist, that I don't ever wake up thinking a certain way. I don't want anything to do with the music industry, because there's a lot of dark stuff going on there. I'm glad that the internet has opened us up to be able to be independent. That's a beautiful thing. But I just wanted to share that part, because that's a big part of what keeps me in a certain mindset. I thank my grandson for that. He, I didn't get to know him long, but I appreciate those 55 minutes he was with us, because he taught me so much. So
Kevin, thank you so much for sharing that. Like that had to be really hard to talk about, and we greatly appreciate it. And that message is as powerful as it gets. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
And you said it. I mean, if you can watch a baby fight for your life, try and find a fucking excuse as an adult. I mean, that's
right.
They don't exist. They only in our mind.
Right.
Oh my God.
So powerful, and love to your daughter. I can't even imagine, you know.
Yeah, you know, and
But
the
again, yeah,
the happy part to
the
it
happy part.
was she became pregnant again.
Oh,
So again, this was, and I had to go here. I felt this was God's way because I prayed hard when
Yeah.
she was in the hospital. I was asking for mercy and everything. And I felt that the family was restored in the birth of my second grandson.
Right.
Now, let me tell you what the odds in this. He was born on December 28th. That's the day I was born.
oh my gosh.
I felt that that was directly speaking to me.
No, right.
His time of entry into this world was 8:08 p.m. 8:08 is the most significant tone in hip hop music history.
Oh my God, I just got chills.
You know, that really low kick drum sound.
Yeah.
So I felt that there was multiple things that were speaking to me spiritually that was saying, look at what I've just done to restore your family.
Right.
And I'm
Yes.
speaking to you because
Right.
you called out for mercy. So my daughter and my son-in-law, they're very happy. They're, you know, they had a second son, little
Oh.
Mike. And man, that little boy's a trip.
I seen your grandson on Instagram, and you and your wife holding him, and just
Yeah,
what a ham, man. What a
he's a
ham.
real ham for you, man. He loves the camera. He loves the camera. So, you know, with all of these things, it doesn't matter what it is that could be going on within your family life. It could be, you know, you have someone that's going through depression, or they're having an addiction to drugs, or anything that you can see is going on. It's teaching you life lessons.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right.
Or look at what this person in my family is doing that rised up to another level. You know what I mean? So again, even though some of these things I've spoken about is tragic, there was a happy ending. Great lesson, man. And that I just can't deal with not being productive. I have to be productive. I have to,
Right.
because I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Tomorrow
Right.
could bring something to where I'm not here anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There's
Yeah.
something so beautiful. You know, it's hard when you're talking about children because you just think of all of the could be's, you know.
Right.
When you think about like a life, like a long-lived life, there's just something so beautiful because, you know, when we lose people that we love, they pass on and we're left behind
Yes.
to live. And while we all have our own grieving and there's, you know, science behind how that looks and what that's supposed to look like, that is
Right.
the black and white text of it. We are left behind and how do we live?
Right.
And you can, some people like Gina and I both lost our fathers, you know, and we look at that, you know, and she lost them at a very young age. And I had mine until I was in my, you know, 40s or going into my 40s. Different experiences,
Sure.
but we can look at that as the time spent as a gift.
Yes.
And we continuously do that. So whether it be 5 years, 5 seconds, or 40 years, there's a lesson, you know, for us to continue with. And you've shown that. And if you have the right set of mind, most people will do that.
Right.
You know, we can really void the world of our gifts if we fall to our sorrows.
Well said.
And art is a beautiful outlet, you know, piggybacking with other skills and stuff to continue to give, you know, to this very little time that we have,
Right.
you know.
You know, music for me saved my life because I grew up in a very violent home. It was really weird, you know. We went from living in this poor kind of thing, and you know, my dad had went to college and through the military, and he came out and he was able to, you know, in the 70s, you know, do great things to take the family from that spot into this really upper middle class neighborhood. Matter of fact, I remember being in second grade when the Mayflower truck pulled up, man. people came out their houses standing there like, what the hell's going on here? You know, because we had gotten to the model home. And you know, we're in this neighborhood, but the sad part about it was, although my parents had elevated themselves, in that elevation was a lot of hurt, a lot of just uneasy things for them to be able to deal with one another. So for me, I saw that as a kid, and I spent a lot of time in the basement listening to music, right? I mean, I must have listened to records more than when I realized I could play an instrument. It was all about listening. I think that was our early developing tool.
Sure.
I just listened over and over and over to what was going on the records that I liked.
Was it
And
the
so-
lyrics or was it the actual sounds? What influenced you more? Was it people sharing their stories and identifying with their stories, or the music, or maybe the two together making it impactful?
I think it was more, I didn't get into what lyrically people were saying until way later.
Okay.
What always, and I feel this way today, what drives a young person into liking what they like is the beat, or the tones, the frequencies, the way that it's hitting you, right? And so, like, man, I didn't realize I was what, 18, 20 years old, what they were really talking about on Hotel California.
Right.
It's a very demonic song.
Right.
I know, seriously,
Like this
on the back of the
music,
record album, you know, when they showed them in the lobby down there, up in the balcony, if you magnify it, there's Anton LaVey, the head priest of Satan's Church.
Church, yeah. I was like, Satan's Church.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you know, I didn't know that's the, you know, for me, you know, I'm listening to the guitars, how, you know, and the arrangement.
It's all
The
chill
arrangement
and
was awesome.
soothing, right?
Yeah. It's all, but you know, I didn't start listening to the lyrics of what these people were saying for a very long time. And see, this is where we're at right now, man. When you listen to trap, I love the production of trap. I just don't like what the artists are saying.
Yeah.
It's their prerogative to say it, but I think there's something really crazy going on where a guy gets on a song, and ladies, please don't take this wrong.
Oh,
But
you're gonna have to try to offend us, Kevin. Don't worry.
Remember, Chicago native.
okay, so the guy spends 3 minutes and 50 seconds on a song, and all he's doing is explaining 50 different ways about how he loves a woman's vagina.
I mean, Paul
There's
Simon at
something-
least had 50 different ways to leave your lover. So like, there was purpose in that song.
Right, now
More
we've got,
shit and get the fuck out.
You know?
yeah, now we've got to 50 different ways of
Definitely.
explaining a woman's vagina,
Yeah.
and it gets really crude. And hey, man, the women are doing the same thing now.
Oh,
The
sure,
women,
right.
rappers, yeah, they're flipping it and talking about, you know, what they're doing with the guy. So
But yeah, there's a difference because, you know, we go through this because we're 70s born children. And,
Right.
you know, there were songs in our day that, again, it's like when you watch a cartoon, like when you watch The Simpsons, you're like, oh, that has a different meaning.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see it as a kid, but I see it now. Perspective changes everything. You know,
We grew up with 2 Live Crew.
I mean, I literally,
Right,
I
right.
literally was, that was my embarrassing moment for my sister driving her to school. I'd be blaring 2 Live Crew through the parking lot. So like, you know, it's, again, what I don't like about a lot of this is that how we're turning that into something that empowers women.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of shifts, and it's like your sexuality is your sexuality. You know, empowering and telling a 13-year-old girl that's how she, you know, gets attention in the world, and that's her superpower. Might be the wrong message. You know what I mean?
I would say so. You know, it's equivalent to what happened during, like, I would say between 2008 and I would say like around 2015. You know, we
From Lil Kim
had,
to Nicki Minaj, right?
yeah.
Somewhere in between that thigh gap, right?
So check this out. We had this situation start to become a big spoken about thing, which was the level of abortions that was going on in our country, and predominantly with younger people. And when I started looking into it, one of the things that was being said, well, it's these young people's bodies. They could do what they want to with their body. It's their body. This is the discussion that was going on.
Sure.
And for me, what was troubling was when you look at the communities that they started putting all these Planned Parenthood things at.
Right.
The troubling part about it is that these young girls apparently didn't have someone in their life that could help them have a certain morality meter for themselves.
Right.
So that they could wake up in the morning and look at themselves in the mirror and go, I love me enough that I'm not going to go to a party, get drugged, get too high, 5 dudes run up in me in a night, and then a month later, I have this situation. And then I use Planned Parenthood as the means of birth control. And that was troubling to me.
Sure.
And that's where I was like, man, we don't know the damaging effects, especially on a young woman, when she doesn't have the proper tutelage from a male or female being brought up.
We're seeing
I know.
We see this because of where government feels its role has now become.
Right.
We see this because when you have a conversation, see, it's how the conversation and the questions get posed. Everything you say makes sense. We were raised to understand the consequences of our decisions.
Right.
We have a different train of thought. When the government entity steps in and becomes the parent, becomes the guide, you're not having conversations, you're having backup on what you're on your actions.
Right.
I'm having I'm not finding the right words, but again, there is it might be moral for some, it might not be moral for others. It's really not for me to, neither here nor there. I have my life and my own situation. And with anything that's going in my body or out of my body, autonomy, I stand behind it. I don't like the government coming in and inciting in any of those roles.
Well, in Planned Parenthood specifically, like I myself was fucking bamboozled. Like they fucking bamboozled me. Like you don't know that they're trying to perform, pass legislation or perform late-term abortions, or you could give birth and then they could kill your baby. Like none of that's talked about. Yeah. It's like, no, you're poor, you're low income, you need your yearly exam, make sure you don't have cancer. They paint this pretty little picture where you're like, oh my God, that's so helpful. I need that service. And then next thing you know, you're like, holy fuck, this was founded by the goddamn devil. Like, you know what I mean? We don't know any of this
literally,
shit.
Literally.
Let's all get it, forget literally on the balcony.
Devil.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, God, like, yeah.
Yeah, look, guys.
We can talk for 6 hours.
I know, we're really good.
I get very emotional and very fired up with this kind of talk, but and I don't care if people don't like what I'm getting ready to say. They don't like it, unfollow me.
Right.
I mean, I would encourage them, they don't like what you're saying, to look at you and say something with independent thought and question, have that conversation, have that debate. Because I'm, for one, sick of just having talking points blasted at people once or another. Are we looking for solutions or not?
Right.
Are we looking for solutions? Or are we looking to argue? Because you're dealing with two dagos.
Because I heard
never fucking shut up.
Right. Or I didn't agree with you. What you feel is a reality. But here's the reality for me. I freaking hate the Democratic Party. I know what the Democratic Party has done to my people. They have harmed Black people. They have used Black people to get horrible things done. And these horrible things now, with the leader that we have in the Dems running it, is nothing short of socialism.
Amen.
He's a dictator.
Amen.
What he is doing is unconstitutional, is unlawful. And I hope the people who voted for him realize what the hell they've just done. Because
that's why I support full facial nudity.
Yeah.
You're preaching to the choir. We feel the same exact way. And I was a Democrat. We're from Chicago. It was fucking in our soul. Like you were raised like you're a Democrat. You believe in this. Everyone.
Well, yeah, but
it's pounding in your fucking head.
That's the mind screw of all time. Right there it's indoctrinating your mindset into believing that this is the way you have to be. No, you do not have to be that.
No, I had an epiphany a couple years ago, and I was like, "Holy fucking shit!" Like my whole fucking life.
I think in real time, Gina and I, our children. I think in real time, it's been a different kind of lesson for us as well, because you get to see at a fundamental level before any words come into a child's ears what the love actually is, and then you can watch society systematically tell them how different they are. And how they're not equal. I mean, Gina and I, again,
we're busting right back to fucking segregation.
I mean, it's
I'm married to a black man, Kevin. Where the fuck does my son go? You know what I mean? Like it's fucking insane. Like it's fucking insane.
Yeah,
I
understand.
Yeah,
check this out. Okay, so I know. Yeah, I'm loving this conversation.
We're having you on weekly.
Okay, but check this out. This gets deep too.
Lay it on us.
When you look at the segregation and the racist, what I would call privilege card demeanor that is going on in this country, this goes back to something that the Brits had established here when they first came here and had their 13 colonies.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to go back to this historical fact, but there were white European people who were slaves right along with the Africans before this became America.
Right.
And what happened was they had two major uprisings. The first one, pretty bad. The second one, those slaves almost took over the colony. That's when the British at that point said, we have to do something about this. Now, the British throughout history have been some of the most cunning, strategic people as a country as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they didn't have to go to war. They planted a spy or someone in someone's camp and poisoned their mind, and they didn't even have to go in and kill them.
I mean, land-wise, they still own majority of the land, correct? I mean, they are countries. They still got their foot in most of them.
Well, we're following the same path. We're at war of the minds right now.
Oh, yeah. So check this out. So the British created this thing of white and black.
Right.
At that point, and follow me on this, there's no such thing as white. This is a made-up term by the British during that time to separate.
This is white. This is fucking white.
No,
I don't look like this.
Right. And see, here's the thing about this. If you meet someone that's European from one of those countries, call them white, they'll go, no, I'm German.
Yeah, I'm Italian, I'm Greek, right.
They'll say, no, I'm French, or I'm Scottish, or I'm Italian. I'm
Kevin, I just filled out an application where it said, it was the weirdest thing ever because I never seen it like this before. It was race, and it was white was the race. We're not even Caucasian anymore. It was white, Indian, Latino, whatever. And then ethnicity. And I thought, oh God, like I'm Italian, German mostly. I'm a German, Italian. Like, where does this, why is it relevant? You know what I mean? Two, are you asking where I come from? Because my ancestors come from Italy and Germany. So right. What socioeconomic situation am I helping you with here?
Well, you know what? Looking at what they did create separating, and when they called these Europeans, they referred to them as white, gave them better privileges from the African people. It created a situation. And so then when the colony actually became America through the Independence War, those slaves that were now free from the tyranny of Britain kept the white-black issue going. Why is that still in existence to this day? If you are born, bred, or even if you come here and you go through the legalities to become an American, you should simply just be an American. As an American, we all come in different flavors, different backgrounds, different things, and your application, like what you were just saying, it should simply say,
American.
Are you an American citizen?
"You're non-American," period.
Right.
And by judging by your character of what they feel you represent during that interview should be the means of how you get the job.
We're indoctrinated to be sensitive to struggles and other things. So you, on one hand, you don't want to be ignorant. There are some factual situations here across our history that do have impact. Do we decide how to move forward together to understand what is relevant now, today, moving forward? How do we heal? How do we go forward? How do we get to that where we're American and we don't have this sub-demographic of who we are? How do we get
there? We have to put the pressure on the government. We the people, have to put the pressure on the government for them to stop using and profiting off of division. And look, division is big business. Look, at the end of the day, it's all about this big business, keeping people divided. The Democratic Party is one of the #1 parties that have always backed separation of the classes.
Right. It goes back to Alexander the Great. That's the motto: divide and conquer.
Right.
Well, in division, you have a Black person more worried about what the white guy is not giving him or keeping him from accomplishing than looking at the government and going, what are you doing? That's the ultimate mind fuck that's causing me not to be able to do what I need to do. Because at the end of the day, they say one thing, they do another. And and I'm gonna get in trouble for this one too. But that's how I feel. That's how I feel about modern day big churches. They're not doing their job.
No.
If you look at what the Son of God asked the church to do and what we should do towards one another, really look at churches and go, are they really living up to what that man, when he was on earth, asked for us to do?
Whatever happens, you lift up a rock, you'll find me there. The kingdom is not made by human hands, right? Like whatever happened to the spirit of what that is. I actually had this argument earlier today because it was, about, what would Jesus be looking back at? Like, if Jesus died knowing what he knows now today, would he do it because of how we act right now? Kind of a weird, hypothetical. But the reality is that he, if you follow that logic, he did do that because he understood the human nature of things and wanted to carve a path for us for salvation, right? Knowing that humans are inherently sinners in the eyes of why we're here. So there's that, you know what I mean? But it gets lost in message because, again, we have this idea of society needs government, a governing body, that we can't survive and figure these things out on our own. We need to be socialized. We need to be structured, grouped, categorized, tagged, marked, and driven through life for the system to work.
Yeah, and that's
I didn't realize how
just one day we just say this. What the fuck happens, man?
Right.
We just say this, and what happens? You lose everything. Everything fucking crumbles to the ground. We go to ground zero, and we come back with our true intended purpose. You know what I mean?
Well, look at what's happening now. Freedom of speech is gone unless you create your own platform, right? Where people can hear these opinions and talk freely. Look, this is where I sit. You look at Facebook, Instagram. If you say something that goes against the liberal or dim web, it seems like you are put in Facebook jail. Right? Like, okay, for example, if I went on and I put up a sign that says F Joe Biden, I'm gonna get put in Facebook jail. That's the real of it, right?
Let's go, Brandon.
or even if I put up a, hey, I wanted to quote a Bible scripture or something. There's a plausibility that that's going to be seen offensive, and I'm going to get put in Facebook jail. This is what's going on right now.
And we're like, tell us to our face, motherfuckers.
I spent 10 years building a Facebook community, literally 10 years for the hemp and the cannabis activism, just education. I'm not selling shit, just education on this plant. Lived in fucking Facebook jail. I have over 50,000 followers I can't ever, interact with. We can't talk to each other. I'm in jail all the time. So past January, I left. I'm like, fuck it, all 50,000 people, goodbye. Like I can't.
Well,
and
that's dictating. That is dictating. Look, I get so upset at this stuff because I'm like, look, man, this ain't cool. That's why I completely, my profile is still there, but I quit doing the Facebook thing.
Yeah,
well, you're in a good place.
Like Facebook, you know what I mean?
You're in a good place. You're in a good place with music because it's still kind of one of the last standing arts that you have more wiggle room, right? Like there's some weird inherent protection that nobody really fucks with too much. They won't buy your shit, but they're not fucking
right.
Your availability to say it. Every artist that touches politics, religion, gender, race, whatever, they all fall in this category, but their music still plays. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know where in our lifetime that we're gonna ever meet people that can literally have an argument with us about our right not to say anything. We deal with those people all day long.
Right.
They literally, they drink of the government's tit in this understanding and this concept that this is my freedom of speech has borders and whatever. Call me an asshole or a bitch when I'm done talking. Don't stop me from talking.
Right.
Judge me all you want.
But I'm getting my point across.
Right. You stopping me tells me you're afraid of me. And watch what happens when you do that with me. Watch what my reaction is.
Right. And see, what's dangerous is what the government is trying to tell you is you have to accept everyone and everything, and that's wrong.
No, the fuck you don't, right?
Look, that's wrong. Here's the thing about that.
You also don't need to hate people that you disagree with. You can just
that's right. And this is what I don't like. Like for example, I don't wake up in the morning and walk out my front door and go, "Hey world, I'm black, love me." But we have that's bullshit. We have groups of people that have positioned themselves in very powerful places.
Yeah.
And they have worked it to where you have to accept their thing. If I was to say, I don't live and approve of that lifestyle, I'm not out trying to hang you by a rope.
Right.
Live and be who you want to be. But don't try and force me to believe or go, hey man, that's cool. That's not cool for me.
Or try and teach our kids that maybe they're not a boy or a girl. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Oh my God.
How fucked up you gotta be to hear celebrate each other's differences, and then like systematically shoot that down in every possible way.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like how I look at, how to look at somebody with a disability, a different color. How do you do that? I can't even understand. And I'll tell you how. It's the political correctness of conversations like this.
Right.
So we get stuck in the, I'm going to make mistakes talking about this. That's a fucking fact. You know what I mean? Like you're going to interpret things I say.
Someone's going to be offended.
Right. Like as I'm being ignorant or I don't understand or I'm not black or I'm not Mexican, whatever. How can I speak like that? I wanted to speak about it though. So what's wrong with that?
Right.
Why don't you talk to me instead of tell me what I'm doing wrong?
Right.
Show me your experience. What is your personal fucking experience that makes you feel that way?
Right.
Do you have one?
Right. And let's talk about it if you do.
Do you have one? You know what I mean? Like, or is it something somebody told you to feel or see or act,
Yeah. It's crazy. I just, hey man, that's why I come in the room and I make my songs. The newest song we have out is called State of the Union.
We were just talking about that.
We were just talking about it because I had what I wanted to ask you, it kind of trickled in because you work with Blake majority as far as people that are coming in. Him
and Sadie are like the main vocalists. I want to bring both of them in on Galactic Cannibals, as guest appearances.
That's awesome. So that's the newest album of the program.
Right now, I gotta get Sadie over here, man. I gotta get that lady over here. And she's busy, man. She's an entrepreneur. And it's hard to get her in the studio, but I gotta get her over here because I've got this song called a Suckerpuss delicious
Suckerpuss,
lollipop
yeah.
adventure.
I love that.
Suckerpuss.
I love
So
that.
it's strictly fun. It's it's strictly fun. But like I said, man, we did the State of the Union, and real fast, just to explain something. The KingZiLLA character, it's a character
Okay.
as well as like Blake. So let me give you the short version of the story.
We wanted to know how you became the KingZiLLA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so Trey Daniels, my boy from POD, his wife, Joanna, and me and Endora, my wife, and some other family members, we all went to Carbo Wobbles, I think that's the name, a Sammy Hagar's restaurant.
Okay.
So we went there and we're eating, and so my wife goes and she starts telling this story. She goes, because this was around 2014. She goes, on my birthday, you know what Kevin did? So Trey and everybody went, what? He took me to go see Godzilla on my birthday. So I'm sitting there like, well, what was wrong with that? We gave you your gifts, you got all your gifts, right? And then I took you out to a nice restaurant. She's like, I didn't want to see that big old lizard on the screen. I didn't want to see that movie. Blah, 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 blah. And so then my friend Trey, he starts going, don, 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 like the Godzilla thing.
Right,
and
right.
Go, KingZiLLA.
And that was it, forever and ever.
That's how I got the name. And so I went, hey man, that's pretty cool. But then all the women were like, I can't believe you did that. I would have told you. So it went through that whole thing, and I just had to sit there and take it. But I looked at Trey, I was like, hey man, I'm gonna use that. So guess what happened? Later on, I started writing a script. The KingZiLLA, and I'm gonna tell you guys this so your listeners can
Yeah.
KingZiLLA is a interdimensional BioFunk entity. So it's Trey's character, which is Monster X. So my script and the story is that these two characters go through dimensions and they look for worlds who have become unfunky. And since you have become unfunky, you must be consumed, because you can't exist if you can't come down on the one on the groove and be cool, right? So Earth, we discover Earth in the third dimension, and we go, yeah, this is an unfunky place. It must be consumed. So we tell the evil Doc Sausage where to bring the truth. Well, Doc Sausage goes, okay, I'm on my way. So, but what happens is our two characters meet these 5 kids that are outcasts. These kids are not well liked at school, okay? But yet they found each other. And so, in meeting them, and
this is the program.
And we decide to well, you know what, man, we love these kids. These 5 kids have changed our position on consuming this planet. So we decide to fight the evil Doc Sausage from coming, right?
This needs to be
So, I was like, has Marvel approached you yet? And why have they not?
Right. And so that's where Blake comes in, because Blake is actually Agent Blake. He defects from Men in Black because they look for, interdimensional biofunk entities like us to stop us from doing harm to the Earth. And so, that's the whole storyline. That's how Blake's character comes in. And so, but the thing is, man, it always comes down to money, right? This stuff was supposed to be cartoons. You were never supposed to see me physically, or Blake, or Trey, or any of that. Manic sound expulsion is a different thing. That's live. That is what you see.
Right.
But the KingZiLLA thing, it was never meant to be like that. It was a character. It's a cartoony. Like I said, I wrote a script to actually turn it into a movie. So
Kevin, does Sadie know? Does Sadie know about this vision of yours?
I think I had told her about it maybe once or twice. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, I would have an absolute conversation with
revisit
her.
that.
Like, they're in cahoots with Netflix right now and recording for Netflix. There's no better time to get a seed in her fucking head about what you just laid out.
No,
there.
I mean, and we've had, the Gorillas, kind of had that kind of same concept, what I mean? Like all their music videos were very cartoony in a sense, almost kind of Japanese, cross,
like comic booky,
like a hybrid of Japanese animation and comic books, know.
I love that.
The fucking music was sick, because
the Gorilla.
Again, you've got a storyline.
Yeah,
you're not drawn.
You have a storyline.
You're watching a story.
Situation when an opportunity for touring, because right now I don't want to tour. I don't want to. I just don't want to waste my time doing it. I've done it for years, and I retired from it. But if the opportunity is presented to do it in a big and envisioned way, the way that I see it, I would be open to it. But right now, I played for so many people and made so many people a lot of money. And being on the road, I formed great anxiety attacks. Artists looking back at you, throwing bad looks if something you did wasn't right at any moment or time. It just got to a point where I was like, why am I letting you rob me of my joy?
Yes.
I didn't get in the music for this. And I was making a lot of money, ladies. I was making a lot of money.
Well, you started as a professional musician, right? Drummer, and then you went into production, and now you're like in the solo art thing, right? Like,
and I'm content. Look, this is what I mean about humbling yourself. What is it that you want to do? And you have to go from the bottom and build up. Man, I went and got a day job. That day job doesn't pay me 3/4 of the money that I was making, but I'm happy now.
Yeah, I mean, that's fucking priceless.
I come home from work and I put in 4 to 5 hours in here, and on the weekends, I'm in here the whole time. Except when my wife, gets, she's like, hey, can you come out the room now?
Remember me, right?
But and hey man, she's been a great, that's my number one fan.
That's awesome.
When I wanted to quit, she's always been like, no, you're not going to quit. You're going to keep going. And because there's many times I wanted to quit.
Sure.
I had lit people that I was working with make me hate the instrument. I didn't like the instrument anymore. I was like, man, I don't even want to play. And also it became very demeaning to me to keep learning another man's work. I started to feel like I wasn't put on this earth to follow another man's blueprint.
Right.
I was given this life and this experience. Kevin, you need to write your own blueprint.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. And have other people follow what you do. And I'm not coming from an arrogant point of view with that. I'm coming from a point of your existence should not be based in following what another human being does, okay, when you have your own life experience to create your own thing. So I embrace that now. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
And I had opportunities to go play with other groups, even right now, that have great showroom gigs here in Vegas. And I was asked to play for multiple people, and the answer was no.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in an arts thing, being a creative person, like it's nothing until you're inspired to do something. I mean, it's just, like if you want to go jam with your buddy on stage one day, like you're gonna do it that day. You want to get a contract, it takes away from a lot of the reasoning of why you want to do it. I mean, I am no artist in that regard when it comes to music. Like I buy an instrument, I learn a couple fucking chords, and now that's what I like to do for my spare time. Like I like the challenge of it. I like the challenging myself with it. Like just that's why I like it, and I enjoy music like in a different way.
Like see some people now that they don't see me doing the stage stuff. I'm like, look, man, what I'm doing in this room is a lifestyle.
Yes.
Okay. And it's the kind of lifestyle that one, this ain't no hobby for me.
Right.
This is real. This is how I live. This is what I do. And therefore, it could also become a very lonely place.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
Even with my family and the love that I feel from them, they don't understand what I'm going through in my own head with creating this stuff.
That's so fucking true.
I can't explain it to anyone. When I try, sometimes I'm having a discussion with my wife, I instantly realize, hey, Kevin, man, you need
She don't
to
get
jump
it.
on. She doesn't understand.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand. You know, now we get on the subject of our grandkids and what needs to happen in our household to make things cool. Now we're on the same plateau in a conversation.
Sure.
Even with my kids, I can only go so far with them talking about this stuff. So again, it can become a very lonely place. But I have been able to balance the two things by understanding where my family's head is at and relating to them still. Some artists don't have that, right? Even if they have a wife and kids, they can't come out of this place that I'm talking about that happens to you as an artist, and they're stuck there, and the marriage and the family thing goes. That's why.
That's where it really becomes important with especially music, and I'm gonna use the word fan loosely, but people are interested in what you do. You literally, again, you're explaining the difference, the dynamic of your family life and what those relationships mean, and they're not based around art. You know, people that are listening to you are seeking you. They're seeking that particular experience, and they will stay with you because of that experience.
Right.
You know, so it's very different. Now, what we have when you're an artist is really just in your working on yourself to not feel like a certain rejection because of it. You know what I mean? And that's where the difference is. The people they're talking about, they have a sense of rejection. Like, this person loves me because of it. Why can't you? When again, art comes down to being a thing of perspective and taste and whatever, many different things.
Sure.
So it is very hard. Like I send Gina some stuff sometimes, it's music, she's like, I don't get it. I'm like, but this is like touching my soul, you know?
I'm like, oh my
She's like, yeah, and I'm like, I'm never gonna hear this again. Please don't send it again. You know, and I'm upstairs crying with a fucking box of tissues, like, how can I learn this on the fucking guitar? Like, but she ain't the one for that, you know?
Right. I get it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's you're right. Everything is subjectional to the ear.
Yeah.
You know, and this person may get it, the other person may not.
Right.
You know, I look at it, it's a win-win situation for me, right? And this is how I look at it.
Right.
If you don't like the song, I still win because I made you feel something.
Yes, no, that's well said.
Look at it like, oh man, you don't like my stuff, but I made you feel something. So that's a win for me. And if you like the song, then that's a double win because you like the song.
So man, the next one,
I don't get all butthurt if someone
good.
You know, it's just not that type of thing. It should never be that type of thing. I have fun what I'm doing. I hope that really comes across.
Absolutely.
On tracks. Me and Blake, we have a lot of fun, and I I have fun with Sadie. Sadie comes in, man. I know to have a glass of wine ready for me. I have a lot of bottles sitting in the kitchen, and we don't drink them. We only open them when she comes over.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's so cool is like how I see you guys in some weird way is like Pink Floyd The Wall, like where there's a story going on in a visual way, and then there's like KingZiLLA in the background telling the story with the music.
Right.
Like somehow I see that in your future in some cinematic way.
It's
you got a
funny
good story.
Okay, the second record that I've been writing, actually I had all 10 songs ready. But, you know, Sadie has been busy. There's a lot of stuff the lady's got going on.
Yeah.
So the second record went through 2 transformations already. The first name was, what was that? 3 new songs, 3 new keys of noise. And then it got changed to Turn It Up. And the reason why I decided to change it to Turn It Up, this particular series of songs, is because when Sadie was like, man, I just want to bring joy to people's lives and help them come into a positive space. And I was like, okay. So the other way I was looking at it was more serious, right? So when we did the song Turn It Up, the theme behind that was the party's on Mars, right? Because everybody's trying to leave this planet. Everybody's going up in space. William Shatner is going up in SpaceX next. So, you know, but the whole goal is they want to get to Mars, right? They want to, so they want to go to Mars. So we were like, okay, so let's make the party on Mars. That was kind of a theme with it.
As an album cover, you guys up on the Mars. I have it on our website. Yeah.
So I was sitting there listening to the record and some of the songs, and I went, okay, Sadie, this record needs to be a movie. And the movie is video to video to video. And so I explained to her, and I didn't have the time to explain the whole thing. So Sadie, if you're watching, here's the explanation.
Yes.
She gonna get this one.
So the thing is that in the beginning, there's this thing called incoming of sound. It's an interlude. Okay. Before it goes into that, you would see Sadie coming from a place where she just got done working. And she comes into a room and she's tired and she sits on the couch and she lays out. And the whole record is actually a dream sequence.
Awesome.
She goes into a dream state.
I see it, man.
Dream state, incoming of sound, this interlude. And from there, I've been creating this interlude to where she's walking through the spaceport. I've got all the sounds laid out. And then she would say, hey, Zilla. And I'll go, hey, Sadie, ready to get on the ship to Mars? And she's like, yeah. And then my wife actually did the, you know, MSC 13 boarding now, you know.
Awesome.
So, you know,
you guys are like Beastie Boys Intergalactic Planetary vibe to it too. I'm fucking loving it.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then the ship takes off, and then that goes into a song we have called that I wrote. It's called DubFunk, We Want the Dub. And that's the party song of what's going on the ship, the journey there. When you get there, then it's all these other scenarios that's connected to, you know, her dream sequence, like a song we have called Be Your Own Rock Star. There's a bunch of other tunes. But anyway, when we get to the end of the dream sequence, she wakes up, and the reality is some of the things that she did and partied on Mars is actually a reality here on Earth in this third dimensional status. So,
Kevin, I would like to know how you come up with all this without smoking weed or dropping acid.
Yeah, I didn't even hear you talking about mushrooms, cannabis,
no psychedelics,
goddamn thing. Drink alcohol, anything.
Ari and Sadie actually the same thing. They're like, you don't get high, and I was like, no.
Right. You heard here from her, folks. You don't have to do these things to be creative personality.
And I tell Sadie all the time, I'm like, hey man, I'm high without the drugs. But
you're not fucking lying.
I'm just in a different place. I don't trip on what people do. You know what I mean? It's just, I know that I was different from a kid. I wasn't accepted by people because I was different. I thought different. I didn't like sports, so I got picked on because I was a big dude early. I was 6'4" at 13.
Oh my God! So the football coaches were falling at your feet.
Yeah, and I wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I just I played.
Treat yourself, fucking.
Yeah, but for my dad, he was like, "You need to leash try, boy." I go out for the freshman year. I played the first freshman game, and true story, I'm defensive end. So man, I go to get around and get at the quarterback. And man, this guy from Scott's High School, this dude was like wider than a refrigerator. Double-door refrigerator. And so I was like, okay, let me do what I learned and practice, So I get up to, like this and run up against him. Man, I bounced off of that guy like a basketball. And that's when I went, oh shit.
Holy reality check, right?
I don't think this is for me. And then when I came off the field, when the game was over, man, the coach was an ex-Marine.
Oh shit.
He came up and he grabbed my helmet and he was like, Kelley, what are you doing? And he's shaking my head and I went, that's it.
Not playing football anymore.
Not playing football.
I was like, that's it. I was like, I'm done.
Man.
You know what I mean? And so, I never did it again. But again, life experiences turn us into who we are. And music was always the thing that felt safe, honest. And, man, I've enjoyed it. I've played for churches. I've toured, I've had 2 record deals. The first one was with a group called Cassius Slade. And the second one was with Carmel 76.
Awesome.
And, for me, the record industry part of it wasn't a good experience.
Okay.
Outside of playing with the people who were in those particular bands. Cassius Slade was literally the baddest ass band I ever played with. Talented.
Awesome.
Sugar Pop, you've seen Sugar Pop. He's been in Michael Jackson videos, Janet Jackson videos.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's a talented dude. And then, that band had the ability to really go some places. But, when the record label comes in and they front at you 75,000 and then they tell you, well, the record didn't sell that well, man, guys, but you're in $250,000 in debt to us now, though.
Oh my God.
And then they go, and you still owe us another record. The loophole out of it was to break up. They couldn't come after us as an entity at that point.
Yeah, that or you're playing fairs for the next 20 years.
Right.
Yeah. So, and some bands choose to stick it out. They would have produced another record and really tried to make something that would have hit.
Sure.
And that's why we hear of, like, take for example, Metallica. When they came out with the Black Album, that album sold 12 million copies within a year. But because of the money they owed from all of the previous albums they made, they barely made money off of that record. And it was their biggest selling album. So
that created an entire 2 generations forward of fans. Like,
oh, the Black Album?
Man.
That was, look, man, I wasn't a Metallica fan at all till that came out. When that record
came here.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, Metallica, man, that's the shit, man. Let me tell you, the 90s for me, rock-wise, they started merging other styles.
Yeah.
There's so many bands. I had bought their CDs. I still got those CDs. Fishbone, Sonic Youth, Soundgarden. Oh, I love Soundgarden. Super Unknown record had to be one of the baddest records they ever made. Rage Against the Machine, of course, my boys Korn, POD. The list goes on what I was listening to, and I actually bought those records and enjoyed them.
Sure.
I'm a huge Seven Dust fan.
Wow, my brother loves them.
I'm going to go see them in December. They're coming here. And this Friday, I'm going to go see Korn.
Wow.
They're opening up for
Vegas.
System.
They got more going on out there.
Yeah.
We're in central Wisconsin right now, so it's not.
Hey, when you ladies come here,
we know where we're going.
You'll have to come with me and my son, because my son, that's the first concert I took him to was Korn.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they had put out the Untouchables record. And,
awesome.
He was like, man, can we get closer to the stage? I was like, nah.
Right. You're not emo enough for today.
Yeah, it's going to be a different type of mosh pit.
Yeah, for sure.
So we stayed back by the engineer where the sound was just really amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. So
familiarize myself with their B side and stuff. I'm more the A side on Corn.
Yeah.
But I, whenever hit the radio, Freak on a Leash, etc.
yeah,
We're like really big fans of Tool. Like you just can't.
Oh, I love Tool.
Oh, Tool. Yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah.
You can't forget about Tool.
Yeah, Tool was. What record was that? It was the record that came out around the same time the Foo Fighters had put out their second record with Everlong.
Oh, the one with Learn to Swim.
They've had Anima, then there'll be Sober,
Anima.
yeah.
Anima.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
That came out around that. It came out
Sick.
the same year as the Foo Fighters record, I believe.
Could be.
That was like what, 97?
Late 90s.
Something
Yeah, it was
that.
late 90s. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
It's G&I's theme song. Anima. Learn to swim.
Yeah. Hey, man, look.
Yeah, it's timeless.
It's all happening.
It's all here in our present. You have that was it Hype where you kind of talk about that, like, the thunder's clashing, like, is it God? Is it an angel? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Come get it, my friends.
Right.
You know what's interesting about Hype? Okay, so Blake has this smooth thing. So there's the contrast in a song.
Yeah.
I'll have this heavy music and then he's smooth. And then I'll come in, maybe scream something or what. So it's a very different contrast, right? So when he first heard Hype, he didn't do anything in the choruses. I said, man, I got the chorus. So he did the verse.
He was like,
and he was honest. He was real honest with me. He was like, Kev, man, I don't know, man. And I said, no, man, this is gonna be the one. So I'm in the mic, man. I'm like, hi, and I got to scream and do my impression of Jonathan Davis. Not nowhere as good as him, but it works for the song. And so he listened to the final song and he's like, man, Kev, you really got anger issues, don't you?
Yeah, let some shit out.
Yeah. It's strong. I mean, it's impactful, no doubt, man. It's strong.
He was like, man, I don't want to stand next to you on stage when we do that song. And I said, look, man, this song has the potential of doing a lot. So look at what happened. We put the song out, when was that? Like late November of, what year was it?
2020, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And so, man, So anyway, we put the song out and it went up like extremely fast. And then it kind of simmered for a minute. And then he was like, man, Kev, I can't believe it's doing this well on Spotify. And I was like, yeah, it's doing good. The song right now finally peaked at, I think, like 110,000 plays.
It's
awesome.
Huge. That's huge.
He was not believing
that?
it. Because up to that time, the biggest streamed song I had was off of the Gorilla Funk and Ice Cream Don't Mix. It was a song called Land of the Suckerpuss. Yeah. It did 102,000 streams.
Wow.
Right? And so he was kind of like, man, that's cool. He goes, wow, that's the biggest grossing song. So I was like, yeah, but we'll have another one that'll top that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was like, and all these other songs that he really liked, they do like 25,000,
sure,
15,000, which is still something to be happy about.
Sure.
I
Right?
mean, yeah, 25 plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was like, man, dude, I just never expected Hype to do what it did. So I did this podcast interview with a friend of mine, Chas. He's a fellow drummer. He played with I think it was Filter.
Nice.
He drummed a couple of shows.
Hitting on my soft spots.
Yeah. So
and
he's doing this podcast. He's like, Kevin, man, I want to talk to you about your music and what you've done. So I went on there, and his grandson, and I got to give his grandson credit because I believe this is what kicked it up to 110,000, right? Because we were only at 75,000 at the time, like around there. Man, his grandson, he goes, man, my grandson loves that song, Hype. He's been playing it to kids at school. And I think it went viral at that point.
Oh, I bet. You get enough kids liking some shit for sure.
Yeah,
oh, that's
and they
awesome.
went on and started playing, playing it. And it went from that 75 range to the over 100.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was without promoting.
No, that word of mouth stuff is so fucking powerful, man.
Yeah,
in the right
for sure.
circle.
Oh, man,
And that song, as you were saying, like the softness of, Blake's voice and stuff, like there's something just so exciting when you're listening to a song and it's like, all right, then it's like, yeah. Then it's like,
oh, get you like pumped, for sure.
I mean, it's just
we got
you gotta keep people interested in moving. Like we're in a constantly go. Like it reminded me kind of like in this weird way. Don't take offense to it. Like like Insane Clown Posse's like Chop Chop Slide, where they're like and then it's like murder. You're like, okay, I'm into it. Let's go.
Yeah, I like those guys, and my thing. Yeah. So Blake, that's that.
That's Blake.
Sadie, I tried that with Sadie, man, and she was very cool about it. She was like, "Wow, that's rock." It was the way she said it.
And she's the kindest soul on the planet.
So nice.
She really is.
She was really cool about it. And I definitely took that. I was like, okay, no, yeah, exactly. So I didn't do the my thing with her again. I kind of chilled from that. I found what works for her. Everything has to be in a very smooth kind of way. Man, if you guys ever get a chance, or whenever we're done with it, Be Your Own Rock Stars is something special. We got to get that done. But it's a really cool track. It's got this. It's a rock track, but it has the dub funk flair. It's I'm always experimenting because the dub part of the dub funk is actually electronic.
Right.
Like from the dubstep.
Right.
The drum and bass. It's actually the electronic forms, electronic pop, all of that. So when you put it together, you have dub funk, right?
Okay. Right.
So that's where it comes from. So like with Sadie, again, a very special thing happened. We had put this song Pop out last year. And, for me, I was kind of like, okay, Sadie, the thing about this song is I think that the women are going to have a lot of fun. I see women listening to it, and it's got this thing where they'll just start bopping around, because for me, I was making fun of pop music.
Yeah.
That's why I called it pop. I was making fun of it. And she was like, okay. But the song that she really liked the most on the record was Shine Your Light and Push Up. Yeah. Those were the two that really stuck with her heart the hardest,
Yeah.
But those two songs didn't do nowhere near the numbers as Pop did. Pop came out and it went over 65,000 streams.
Wow. Yeah.
We haven't hit that high since that song. And she was like, wow, Pop did that. And and I could tell sometimes she's like, Pop did that?
Damn it.
Wow. Yeah, it's like you never know what's going to gel.
You just don't.
Stick with people.
Right.
I love Shine Your Light. I love everything about the beat. It's got this Beatles type of, thing going on in it. And I love the rap she made. It's just a really cool tune. Push Up being our first tune that we did, there's a special place for that. Yeah. I feel in my heart. I think the song works extremely well for multiple things. You know what I mean?
I think they're balanced out really nice too. There's a footprint of each of you in there, in a very specific way, and it's well balanced. It's a nice collaboration to hear both.
I can't wait for you guys to hear the new material. The KingZiLLA featuring Blake. This is the plan. So we just released State of the Union. For the next 6 months, I'm going to release a new song every 30 days.
Awesome.
Oh shit.
So, and this is all coming off of this new record that is entitled, it's called The Jackal.
Nice.
And what that came from was an opportunity through an associate of mine, a comic book character for Variant Comics. They have this character called Ninja. And it started with, I wrote a song for that character because they're making these statues, right? 200 of these statues will be sold in collectible comic stores. And they're very expensive,
Yeah.
very expensive, like $1,000 a
Cool.
statue. So what they wanted was, Kevin, can you write a song that when they buy the statue, they'll get a thumb drive with other information on it, and they can instantly get the song, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
So, cool. Well, Blake, having the mind that he has, he's like, I want to write a story through the music. And we're not going to use the name Ninja because the comic book company gave us the permission to use the character's name in the song. But I said, Blake, don't put the character's name in the song because later, because we're writing a whole work around this,
they're gonna own all of
that
it.
company comes back and goes, well, we didn't discuss that. Now we need to discuss XYZ, and you got to stop doing this because that's our character's name.
Right. You lured them in with the character's name and then your own shit. We want a piece of that too. Oh,
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Amen.
our ninja guy is named Cloak and Dagger, the Master. And the Jackal is a group of ninja assassins that he has created that is working against MI6.
Fucking love
So this whole story now again, and it's like an episode thing through the songs. So the next 6 songs over the next 6-month period is from that record. That whole record is actually done. But I don't want to drop it like I did the program because I learned from the program, one, that was our most political record we'll probably ever make. We made a statement. It's there for people to listen to. But to pick the different songs and start promoting those because it all came out at the same time in a whole body of work, you know, people have an attention deficit disorder.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I dropped that whole thing, and without a lot of money backing that to promote it, it just kind of phased out within like 40 days or whatnot. So I learned from that. How do you keep people's attention? We'll break out the singles and we'll just keep dropping a new thing off the album for 6 months. And then on the 7th month, I'll give you the whole record.
Whole album.
That's a really good idea.
No, yeah, get the singles out, build the hype to grab the whole collection for sure.
Yeah, grab the
No,
whole
and there's
collection.
so much that with social media. I mean, there's, you know, everybody is their own show these days.
Right.
And they all need that something to like in the background, right? That little like what's gonna get the attention. Your music is, if you're an influencer or wanting to be an influencer, like grab things like this because it's different.
Right.
You know, it catches somebody's attention. Somebody playing like hype while they're doing their makeup or whatever, like it grabs people's attention in a very saturated visual feel. You know what I mean? And they need that. Otherwise, they're just stuck in like TikTok with, you know, the same songs playing every 3 seconds. And you know, it's really cool. You know, we're gonna do our best to move some shit around too.
Hey, I want to show you guys something.
Yeah.
See,
please do.
This thing here is again, this is my electronic kit, and
I would die.
And this is a nice little item that Sadie made for me. She put the notes and stuff on KingZiLLA light bulb.
Gosh, you're so thoughtful.
Always sit that there on my desk, and you know, for any of the tech heads that's watching this, you know, my main interface is an Audient ID44, and this is how my pads are connected into this Yamaha module. That module then is connected into here and then into the computer. So that's how we get the sound in. And this here, I just want to show you guys this since we're
show us your regulars.
And this is the room It's just a regular room that Sadie and myself and Blake and all the vocals are recorded in here.
Oh,
So
wow.
we got the mic right here. But the thing, what I've done is I put a little bit of foam all up into the place.
Yeah, the sound.
And I put these clothes here because when Sadie, myself, Blake, we're standing in here, it creates more sound absorption.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Right.
I don't,
This is the
so,
echo.
you know, it's a poor man's way of getting that real sound. Like when I close this door, I don't know if you can hear it, but as soon as I close that door, and I'm
my
standing
God.
right here, you hear more of the frequencies with no reverb or nothing.
Right.
So it's just these little things that I figured out. So when you're standing right here, which is looking at the mic, man, I'm capturing very rich tones that's coming directly off of the
you certainly are.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be like, do you need a $3 million studio to pull off this? You don't need that.
No.
I mean, you got people on the street with, you know, 5-gallon buckets making people teary-eyed. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. So you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do that.
And then this right here, when we come out here, then you get my all-time favorite movie and inspiration. The 1933 King Kong was that was an awesome film. So before I come in the studio, I always see that. And then over here, I see, this is a painting I had got from Tim Stevens, who did the artwork for the first Cassius Slade record.
Oh,
This is
wow.
Machine from Apocalypse Now.
Awesome.
When he came up out the water.
So I was saying he's got a very worldly face, very.
Yeah. So those two things are here when you come in, and then in this room right here, you'll have to excuse the fact that it's junky as hell. But this is
Jesus.
This is the red kit.
Yeah.
And it's acrylic, it's see-through. Actually,
it is.
It's the drum heads are colored red, so they give the appearance that the drum set is, you know,
transparent, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah, man. They have a really nice pure tone, and I've spent a lot of time.
Put in work.
Yeah, it's a really cool.
I was like, Gina's over here, her hands are already like flickering.
Like, oh my God.
I'm having to buy her a bongo after this.
And you know, the kick drum, man, you know, the booty shaker right there.
Yeah.
It's got a nice
shake it, don't break it.
Because the only person I know, a drummer, you know, when you get in a room with a drummer, it's just, you just don't talk anymore. You know what I mean?
It's like you feel it in your heart.
The percussion just, you know, either you want to like pick up an instrument and get in on it, or you just want to stand there and like feel it through your body. Like
it's really cool. You know, Sadie came in here because her brother is a drummer. So she came in here one day and she started rocking a beat, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sample that and we'll make a song around that. She had a
awesome.
beat.
I was like, wait, your hands free right now. Give us like a 10-second lick. Do it.
You got a little something.
Like you got two hands open right now.
I'll have to play with these because I don't want my neighbors calling the cops. Yeah, that's why the electronic kid in here is such a
Just hear it in the headphones.
But, I like to keep my beats a certain way and simple, right? Because I'm always thinking about songs and how that beat may possibly move people. So like a boom bap beat, like. I don't really, you know, I used to be one of those type players that I was very chop orientated, but lately, man, I realized that don't make people bop their heads so much.
No, you got this maturity to it too. It's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, so
There's a
I
difference.
just sit here, I have fun. Man,
love
you know,
Love
I just
it.
I'm at peace with it. And man, I just want to keep creating for as long as I can continue to do it, you know.
Kevin,
So,
do you have a few more quick minutes? If we could just, usually we kind of wrap things up by shooting off just some like random questions, just kind of some get to know you type questions. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely.
Try you too corny, you know, like rapid fire. When we actually touched, give us 1 second, because like we talked about so much, like we actually kind of got some answers.
Yeah,
to some of these things.
we got all these.
Hold on 1 second.
What inspires you daily?
Oh man, creating. Just it could be anything, like seeing something or trigger something to do in here. And definitely the technology. It's incredible. Yeah.
Elevate you to the next level.
Awesome.
Do you prefer sunrise or sunset?
Ooh.
Sunrise, man. I'm up before the sun gets up. Why?
Early bird catches the worm.
Why is that? You need to get your butt up in the morning because the rest of the world is up doing and handling business. So you need to get in the mindset. I go to bed early, guys. I'm like an old papa. And I go to bed early and I'm ready to start my day at 4 a.m.
Oh.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Sadie too. Sadie will say that too.
Not there yet.
No,
I'm a go to bed at 4 a.m. kind of person.
I was you.
Not by
I was
choice.
you many years ago. When
Not
I
by
was getting
choice.
off the
Just
gig.
like it's just where the way
o'clock.
my brain works. It's like that's where everything starts flowing, you know? Like I can't help it. age will change that hopefully.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. What is your favorite color?
Oh, well, that's red. And I get technical with it.
No, yeah, like what version of red?
Yeah.
Like metallic red, you know, like the
nice.
burgundy wine red looks really pretty on cars.
Yeah.
But the main reason why I like red is because red brings out aggression. See, the colors just aren't colors. Colors actually, through the eye, affect attitude and in many ways. So red brings out aggression.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm playing the drums, I want to be aggressive. I want to be aggressive in your face with the beats. And so I that's the reason why I chose red. The very first drum set I got was a metallic red.
Awesome.
And I was a very aggressive player, I believe, because of it. It affects what's going on. So
I mean, there's a lot of truth to that. You know, marketers will tell you, they do a lot of studies on what colors make you spend money, what colors don't make you spend money, what color that car should be. You know, it's all pre-programmed.
Right.
If you could have one wish, what would it be?
Definitely, I would have to say people just getting their shit together, man.
Yeah.
You know, not just this country, but a world thing, man.
Yes.
Everybody just be cool, man. And
planetary alignment. I love that.
that seems to be a very difficult thing to do. So,
yeah, it shouldn't be, but it sure is. Right.
Yeah. I wish we could find that one nugget of advice to get people in that mindset. You know what I mean? Like, what is that universal situation where when you say it, everybody understands it in the same fucking way? You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't need translation or whatever. Gina has a really good one, and she uses it as one love. You know what I mean? Borrowed from Marley. It's a ideology, something that kind of covers and eradicates
we're all one.
The difference part. You know what I mean? Where you just eliminate it. You know,
people plant people underestimate that.
Well, you know, there's just too many USAs around, man.
Right.
Yeah, and what I mean by USAs is because I move fleets of cars during the day.
Okay.
Man, I really see the most ugly of people every day. That I almost will go to the extent and say you're seeing the reality of who that person really is when they get behind the wheel of a car. So for me, USA is a useless, self-absorbed asshole that treats the road.
Write that shit down. We're getting T-shirts for you to sell as Manic. That's going in.
Useless, Absorb.
We need to have these podcasts be always multi-purposeful.
Asshole. Got it. Check. You
We're sending you a t-shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but seriously, man, don't be a USA.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, just be cool, man. Just be cool.
Just be cool. That'll be underneath. Top.
Yeah, just be cool.
Plus in the bottom, just be cool.
It's a palpation. Just be cool, man. Just be
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, just be cool, man.
fuck down.
All right, last one. Where are we? Oh, no, that's you though. Sorry.
Oh, and I think I did this one here. The Wish. Do you have any nicknames growing up? You know what your adult nickname is. I'm running a brand now.
Right. What did they call me, man? I'm trying to remember. What did she? Man. Well, my mom, until I got a certain age, she used to call me Dinka. I don't know what the hell that meant.
Dinka or Dinka?
Yeah, my little Dinka. I don't know what that
That's cute.
meant. I don't know what that meant. She was from the South. Maybe that had some Southern meaning. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like a little dumpling or something.
Yeah, it's like a little stinker, little dump, your little
devil
devil
stinker. You right.
Well, I think it came because I was scared of the Pillsbury Dough man.
Oh.
When that commercial would come on TV,
all fucking
I
coming
would
together.
cry. There was something about him, man. It was creepy.
He's very creepy. He's always giggling and nothing to come on right. No one's telling jokes,
No.
right?
Way too bad from a guy about to go in the oven. That's all I gotta say.
And she was like, and she would start calling me, "Oh, what's wrong, Dinka? There's nothing wrong.
Aw.
Maybe it has
Just
something
call
to
me
do
a
with
shithead. How nice.
Yeah, maybe it has something to do with that. I don't know, but that's otherwise, man. I always just remember people calling me Kevin.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
You know, until I became a musician. Then, you know, when I was in the Monroy band, I was called Machine Gun Kelly.
Awesome.
I would do these
ahead of its
fast
time.
Yeah, and then,
The original.
you know, different things like that. You know, during the Snoop Dogg era, everybody was a dog.
Right.
So I was called K-Dog, you know.
The dog. Catch up.
K-Dog, you
The
know.
dog,
Catch up. The dog.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody had dog. What's up, dog? You know what I'm saying? That little slang to it when Snoop hit.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, man, that was it.
Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to throw a song at the end of our little thing here. Which one can we pull? And I want you to walk us to it. I take one off the new album. I got so many things.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite? Like, is there
Pleasure.
something that stands out?
Right. Well, right now for me, with the state of things going on, State of the Union is that track.
Okay.
All right.
I feel that the track, you know, without beating you over the head too much, it's just, you know, hey man, power to the people, one voice.
Right.
You know, quotes like that from the song ring powerful for me, and as Blake as well. You know, he was
Kevin,
really-
do you have the lyrics to that you could send to us?
Not
Not this
not
second. I mean,
not
whatever.
on me right now, but I
Yeah,
can
no,
get
no
it.
rush.
Yeah.
I mean, because we
Yeah.
can put that into a post.
We'll throw it
I mean,
into
get your
a-
lyrics out
Yeah,
there.
you know,
I'm gonna pull some
Blake comes
text
in
up
the
and
studio
slap it
with
in.
that on his phone, you know, and he's like, and then like when I need him, like to put up on a website, I have to get it from him, and yeah, because he
Nah, send me
travels.
one thing, artwork and the lyrics, and I'll turn it into something for you by tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll,
for sure.
I'll get that to you in an email. I'll let Blake know and ask him
Thank
to get
you.
it to me tonight, and I can get
Yeah.
that to you tomorrow. But
Okay.
yeah, I would say, yeah, we have a lot of songs, guys, between
I mean, you do.
KingZiLLA and featuring Blake and Manic Sound Expulsion, because Manic Sound Expulsion did release another 3 songs outside of the first record,
Awesome.
and so yeah, it's a lot of
When
music.
are you starting to drop the new songs, the one a month? Is that starting in October or November?
Well, in 2 weeks, State of the Union will be on Spotify, Apple
Okay.
Music, Amazon, So I'm gonna use that as the date thing, you know, to drop next month. It'll always appear on SoundCloud and Bandcamp first.
Okay, that's what we found it on SoundCloud. I was like, hey, and Spotify, so maybe there's just a delay or some shit. But you're mostly go to SoundCloud first.
It takes 2 weeks. Actually, they want you to give them 30 days to get it up to all of the digital platforms.
Right.
But you know, I'm one of these people that once I got the artwork, I got the song, it's right. Hey man, put it out there, you know. But I understand, and I'm going through a new digital, distribution right now. I've used a couple, and now I'm using this one. Here's the thing: a lot of them have hidden fees or hidden stuff in the small print, and they'll tell you up front, yeah, man, for this amount of money, you can release as many songs as you want. And what ends up happening is it's bullshit.
Sure.
Because if you don't select, for an additional $50, this song will stay up forever on the platform. Okay. Well, what happens is you pay that 20-something dollars or $30 for the whole year, but then they pimp you for an extra $50 for every album. And then you're like, oh, man, this sucks. So that's why I left DistroKid. Just be upfront and honest with me.
Right.
Just say, you know, this is what it's going to cost, period. $75, $80, $100, but be upfront.
Yeah.
So,
well, and also, you know, show me how you're going to deliver. Is it worth the money? There's so many platforms for you to freeload of, you know, things up to. If you're good at getting your voice and your word out there, you're marketing yourself, then you don't need those things. But if they're going to take that role and you're going to pay them to do that, they better start showing some fucking results, man.
Right. And so, like, I was with TuneCore before DistroKid. I was with TuneCore. I left TuneCore because TuneCore does the same thing. You know, you pay a certain amount of money to get it up, and then every year you're paying these ridiculous fees. So this new company doesn't do that. They offer you, this is a one-time fee for this record. Now, for each record, depending on how many songs, this is what you're going to pay, right? At least you're being upfront with me.
Right.
Once it's up there, then you don't have this yearly fee to keep the music up there. So a lot of songs, I'm just letting them disappear that were put out with DistroKid and TuneCore, because I'm going to re-put those songs out through this new company. So in this new company is the beginning stage of it, but they've got some really cool things going on because it's run by artists.
Yeah.
That's like missing key. People understanding the fucking hurdles and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Are we here to help you get your art out or not, you know?
Right.
Yep. So,
all right, so we're going to be walking our crew into State of the Union, which is not available now, but it is available on SoundCloud, right?
Yep, SoundCloud.
So we can give them that link.
We're we're linking the shit out of this. We're gonna put it in our stuff here. I don't know what song. We'll surprise you on the intro. We're taking out our theme song and we're gonna throw something else in.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna start stocking your Spotify and adding it.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know when it's up on Spotify. Like I said, they're saying it should only take 2 weeks. I'm hoping it doesn't turn into the 30-day thing, but normally 2 weeks it shows up, and I'll let you know, get you a link.
Thank you, Kevyn.
Yeah, Spotify is really cool. Also, you can go to KingZiLLA02.bandcamp.com to listen to the record.
Right.
Well,
.bandcamp.com?
Bandcamp.com.
That's awesome.
You know,
that is.
I've been sending out the links from it. I like Bandcamp, man. You know, I know a lot of people have jumped to other platforms where they don't have to pay anything. But I mean, look, man, what they take from you isn't a lot of money.
Right.
And it's set up so that people can listen to the song for free up to 3 times. And then after that, it's going to ask you for a donation.
Right.
You know,
Which
because
is fair.
That's very
Like,
fair.
yeah, which
Never
is only
did.
fair, you know.
you're saving people sanity while they're driving to work at 4 a.m. Like,
Yeah,
baby,
yeah, it's important.
baby.
Right.
How do you not fund a revolution? I don't understand what people are expecting.
Yeah, well, you know, unfortunately, people feel that music should just be free, you know.
Yeah, so should everything.
And I think, yeah. And I totally, I'm like, no, man, it's a product that we've made. If you like it,
Yeah.
you know, pay for it, support the artist.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing is that the record industry itself has done things that has been damaging
Sure.
to artists and people feeling that they need to pay for something. It's ridiculous.
Sure.
It's ridiculous. But you know what? My battery's getting ready to go.
No, we're done.
Man, look, we've been talking for. I started at 100%. That means I need a new phone.
Well, Kevin, you know what? While we still have you, I want to make sure we get you back. You know, maybe you drop these next 6
absolutely.
songs and we'll get you back on and let's talk about more stuff. This has been an incredible conversation.
No, I really
Man,
appreciate
I really enjoyed talking with you guys. Lolo, it's so good to finally talk to you, ladies.
Yeah, man, our little Insta chats.
Yeah. I mean, Instagram was how I met a lot of people, man.
Sure,
And
absolutely.
you too, Mama Hemp.
Yeah,
So, you know, hey, man, blessings to both of you and your
You as
families.
well.
You and your family as
be
well.
at peace and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
don't change for anyone else, man. Be you. If they
Thank-
don't
Definitely
like
not
it,
in our DNA.
Yeah, that's our
man.
message to everybody. Be unapologetically you. The right people will be by your side.
That's
Exactly.
one or 3 million. Don't matter.
Doesn't
You
matter.
just need
That's
the one.
right. That's right. And the ones that ain't down with you, man, see ya.
That's right. That's it. That is it.
That's how I look at it, man.
Yes.
Hey, man, I'm a free spirit, man. I'm doing what I do.
Us
Yeah.
too.
And we're
So, hey,
feeling
love
the
you
vibe.
guys, man.
Love
you guys
you,
are
and thank
cool,
you for bringing
man.
us into your life,
Yes,
man.
thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate
appreciate it. All right, we'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Thank
One
you so
love.
much. One
right,
love.
All right,
Bye,
later.
Evan.
Bye-bye.
And now a word from the president of United Funk. Many a call but refuse to pick up, but I'ma leave a message after the tone, State of the Union. The House Speaker dusting all cabinets. I'm going deep in the bayou with the fumigate clean house. Import construction from the inside out, destruction from the ground up, outside in. Eradicating last terms, genders out, brush mouth, rush more with the hammer and chisel. DubFunk press before pumps it.